who would want to meet them, children?
Yes.
Shall we meet our student authors?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll call them. Keep up. Are your student authors? Now you can ask them your questions.
Hello. Hello. This question is for Hita. Could you please tell us how this journey into writing began for you?
I was in third grade, almost as your age when I first started reading. And I think I have read a wide range of authors, wide range of collection of books. And I think around 5th grade was the period of time where I transitioned from reading books to writing, where I incorporated whatever I read into my own feelings and then I put it down. And I think that is where the journey of writing very, very short stories, small stories, to composing poems and writing poems, and then now to writing books and having them published. So, very good. Thank you.
Hello, authors. Good afternoon. My question is to Shivani.
Yes.
Who or what was the inspiration behind this?
So my family is my biggest inspiration, and my family as a whole, we have been reading since they have inspired me to read from when I was able to read, and they inspired me to think, and they gave me topics to write stories on. And with the wide range of collection of books that I used to read, and I still continue reading, those were the topics that inspired me to write what all of you are reading right now, and that is what I would describe as my inspiration.
My question is to Biha. Can anyone become a writer, or do we need special training?
Anyone can become a writer, but you require training. So the main thing that drives you is your passion. That innate passion that you have in you is what drives you to become a writer. So that was what happened for me. You have to have the urge to write, and when you have a pen and paper in hand, it's just about putting everything that's inside onto that. So that's it.
My question goes to Avantika. How did you prepare yourself before you began writing?
Alright, so again, I was around your age when I began writing. Before that, I used to read a wide range of books, poems on a regular basis. And you don't always have to begin big, you have to start small. Okay, for example, you can start writing a few sentences on a daily basis about anything which inspired you or motivated you. And then eventually, you start enjoying the process of writing. Can you please repeat your question?
How did you prepare yourself before you began?
Alright. So, if I'm being honest, I don't really think much before I begin writing. Usually, inspiration just strikes from my surroundings, such as nature or any book I read or any conversation I had with my family members. So, that's about it.
Hello. My question is to Dati. So, what kind of research did you do?
Honestly, I think reading goes along with writing very well. So I started reading at a very young age. I read a lot of kids and classical books that you guys probably are reading. Harry Potter, Percy Jackson, and any other classical books. And they were all very big inspirations for me to start writing. And I think you can use inspiration from all around you. Inspiration is everywhere you go. My family members, the authors, my brother, who's also a great reader, he used to help me. And from there you start small and you develop the habit, and consistency work on a daily basis, right? Even if it's one sentence a day. If you start doing it every day, it will become a habit, and eventually you will be in a significant place and you can write.
My question is to Manya. Are your characters inspired by real life people?
When I first made my characters, I just randomly picked names that came into my mind, and most of them were fictional characters. Like from nature surroundings, I just see these tiny dolls, Barbie, and Frozen, Disney movies. I picked out characters from those and made up some of my own fictional characters. So nothing like actually from real life inspired me. It was basically from fictional stories or movies.
My question is to Sahej. How many days did it take to write the whole story? So the workshop was about 10 days, but when I started actually getting inspired, I wrote like really quickly. At like one point of time, I wrote too much and I didn't know where to cut. But then it was easy when we had the inspiration and the people around us to know what you're really going for.
Hello, authors. My question is to Nikki. What kind of feedback have you got about your story from your readers?
Most of them have actually liked my story. Some people told me my dialogue was a bit dry, which I really appreciate because I realize that it sometimes feels bad when you receive negative feedback, but it's all for the best because now I can improve better in my next piece of writing. And I really appreciate the positive feedback I've gotten from the people who actually liked my story. Somebody said they liked my plot twist. It made me really happy because I'm glad that I know I'm appreciated. Thank you.
Question is to Pranam. What role do your parents, teachers, and friends play in your journey?
In my journey, my family helped me a lot in writing the stories. They gave me ideas of the characters, and my friends helped me to write a lot of the story and the beginning. And my family inspired me. They told me all the new characters they created, and I added to my story.
Jishni, you can just stand up and ask the question.
Good morning, brothers. My question is, what can we look forward from you in the future?
Well, for me, I myself did not know I was going to write a story in the starting of the year. But slowly, when I got the opportunities and I started writing, it made me feel very inspired. So maybe the same thing will happen again. I do a lot of diary writing, so I have a lot of experiences I've written. I emphasize everything, make it all poetic. So whenever I get the opportunity, maybe I'll write another story. Thank you.
Now, my question is to Prithvi. Do you get time to do any other activities after you started writing?
As you know that it is for 10 days, and yes, it's for 2-hour workshop, and I also like to do other activities like badminton, and also to answer your question, yes, you can do other activities alongside the writing.
My question goes to Pita. Who is your favorite author?
That is one of my favorite questions. My favorite author happens to be Sudha Murthy, and I was very young when I first started reading her books. That is when my dad first introduced me to her, and I would like to say that was one of the very best decisions of my life. Because when you, in fact, read her books, kids around the age of 10 to adults, all of them can read her books, and when you read it, the simplicity of the writing, the beauty, the way she conveys the messages to the authors is somewhere really inspired me to incorporate in my own writing. So I think she has definitely played, her writing style and her personality have definitely helped me and played a role in my life.
My question is to Avantika. Could you please suggest some good books by them? By your favorite authors?
Of course. So I have a wide range of authors I could suggest. Alright, Sudha Murthy is a classic. As Nita said, you have people from all age groups reading her books, and you learn a lot of moral values. You get to know about a wide range of concepts. Other than that, Enid Blyton. and then you have Roald Dahl. You might have read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and a few other books. I would suggest you reading Satyajit Ray Feluda series. Those are about a detective. So if you enjoy mystery, you can even read Sherlock Holmes by Arthur Conan Doyle. And then other than that, depending on your favorite genre, you can ask me further questions.
My question goes to Bina. What kind of books would you like to read?
As a child, I read fiction mostly, but very recently I've started reading autobiographies, and one of the most touching books that I've read is Indra Nooyi's My Life in Full. I feel that I've learned a lot from that book.
My question is to Shivani. What is your advice to other budding authors?
So my advice is very easy. Just write every day, as said by many other authors over here. Just write every day. It doesn't matter if it's a sentence, even if it's a small poem or anything. Just pour your heart out. Get all your thoughts on paper. That's one of the most therapeutic thing I do, is to write a journal or a diary on either one of the happiest days of my life or one of the worst days of my life, and I just write, and it your thoughts can form stories, and that's how most of the stories are formed. And with your thoughts on paper, just write whatever you think, and that might be one of the next best-selling stories.
This question is to Nagar To. Could you please give us some tips for writing?
For writing, consistency is key. Even if you have no ideas at that moment, whatever little you may have, and even if you think it's a bad idea what you're thinking of, just jot it down. Or write it down on a piece of paper and keep it for later. No idea, even if you may think that it's bad, it will help you in the future. I have jotted down so many ideas, and many of them I did not use, but even though they were bad, they led me to the good ideas that I had in my brain. So consistency every day is one.
My question goes to Maya. Where is your favorite place to be when you're writing a book?
So, my favorite place is mainly when the genre of the book that I'm writing, or the story that I'm writing, to sit in that environment is very inspiring, and it also gives you many ideas to add to your story. So, for example, if you're writing a book on nature, a story on nature, or any other like place or something, castle, mystery story, sitting outside would be a good place, like a bench in a park. It would actually be really nice to hear the butterflies chirp around you, and writing in that environment is really inspiring to add to your story, add more to your story.
My question is to Saisha. Do you think e-readers are better than books, as we can have many books in the e-readers? What is your personal choice?
Actually, holding the book in your hand and actually reading the text, feeling the book is a really nice thing, because if it's online, it's no problem, but you might not feel the same thing when you're holding the book in your hand, because when you're actually holding it, you can imagine what is happening, but when you're looking at the computer, I personally think it's not that good, but if you're preferring it, my question is to Nikita. If you meet your favorite author someday, what question would you ask them? Why?
Okay, so if I were to, I have a lot of favorite authors, so I won't name one in particular. But if I were to meet them one day, I would firstly thank them for inspiring me so much. I would not be the person I am today without all the books I have read throughout my life. And I would ask them what inspired their characters. Like, who did they know in real life who inspired them? Who inspired them to start reading or to start writing? What was their experience? It's really inspiring to know that your favorite author who has helped you in a way to come to this stage where you are writing your own book, what helped them to do this?
question is to Pranav. Do you think we can start a reading club at NHVPS?
Yeah, sure. Like, not only the authors, any person can write a story or tell a story by their experiences or inspirational. Yeah, we can't start a. Like, can you repeat your question?
Can we start a reading club at NHVPS?
Yes, we can. It may be us authors or you guys or anyone. Like, they can tell their inspirations, their suggestions, their any incidents happened, or they can the stories which they have written. They can tell.
You can suggest a book by us to read every month and we can discuss it.
Yes, I would suggest APJ Abdul Kalam books. Like, it's very inspiring that how he grew up and how he became a rocket scientist. Then what were his struggles. Yes, I would like to suggest that.
Thank you. My question goes to Chandra. Could you please suggest some good books or must-read books for the children of our age?
Well, when I was of your age, I started with Harry Potter at around 4th grade. Honestly, I didn't understand much of it, but then as I grew up in 5th grade, I finally understood it once I watched the movie and all that. So definitely start with the movie, obviously. Stories are very simple, but they have a lot of meaning when you actually think about it. It emphasizes on the small things of life. And then you can do J.K. Rowling and Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond's stories are so amazing, even his poetry, because it's mostly related again to the small things of life that we do have to think about.